Australian gamers just can't catch a break. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. But first, my opinion. I'm Tarmack and this is Feature Creep. Australia has been a whirlwind of gaming news over the last few months. They got their very own 18+ rating, which everyone was happy about because there were a number of games that were censored or outright banned for sale down under. Now, many of you have played the Saints Row series. They're over-the-top games, similar in playstyle to Grand Theft Auto, but with ridiculous shenanigans like shooting through the window of a jumbo jet, so instead of it hitting you, you can pass through the inside unscathed. The scene is a little bit more complicated than that, but it's still absolutely nonsensical. I should add at this juncture that I love Saints Row. The games are an absolute blast. They don't take themselves seriously in the slightest, the gameplay is fluid, and they always seem to look pretty good too. The story is garbage, but the funny part is that doesn't seem to detract from the game at all. If the story was better, honestly I wonder if it would make the game feel less fun, as odd as that may sound. So, Saints 4 was refused classification. That was a while ago though. The refusal was appealed and very recently was refused classification again. Now this refusal means that the game cannot be, quote, sold, hired, demonstrated, or advertised in Australia, end quote. And all of this even with an 18+ rating having been recently added to the board's repertoire. The reason that it was refused is because even though the 18+ rating was implemented, the rules in its creation stated that games involving, quote, drug use related to incentives and rewards is not permitted, end quote. We're pretty relaxed in Canada when it comes to these sorts of things, so my perspective is definitely as an outsider on the ratings issue. That said, I've done pieces on the ESRB and PEGI systems in the past and the dangers associated with these rating boards. My opinion has always been that these ratings boards should be nothing more than an advisory. They should have no legislative influence of any kind and really just be an ingredients list for parents looking to select products for their children. The idea that you can have an 18+ rating, the age of majority or the age that someone is considered an adult, and then have that used to further censor products deemed unfit for even adult consumption is just mind-boggling. And that the Australian populace hasn't been protesting this in the streets is just as confusing. I'm not going to try and draw a true parallel to other media because I don't really have any good examples, but it is similar to being told what you can and cannot read. Though to be fair, it wasn't all that long ago, a few decades maybe, that the country did have a lengthy list of banned books as well. The Australian adult mind is considered incapable of making the reality-fantasy distinction, and so the government must protect them lest they go into a drug-induced rage after playing Saints Row 4. Combine all of that with a recent report about the Australian IT pricing inquiry. The inquiry essentially boils down to there being no good justifiable reason why Australians pay between 40 to 90% more for video games than the rest of the world. So Australians are being screwed on price and selection, and nothing can be done about it. Well, except for buying lots of older games from GOG.com, which happens to sell all of its products worldwide at the same price. I really feel for the Aussie gamers. This whole situation just plain sucks. Luckily though, you have one saving grace in amid these two very distinct issues. The same federal government committee that found the prices to be unjustifiable has also recommended that Australians become familiar with how to bypass geo-blocking. They've essentially given you all the permission you don't already need to go ahead and just buy international copies of everything. They're cheaper, and you get the games uncensored and unblocked. So, give me a few words in the comments below on what you think about this whole Australian pricing and ratings nonsense. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. That's all I have to say. Tarmack out.